With the new ranked season of League of Legends well underway, I am now starting my second ever season of ranked in League of Legends. And I'm starting it exactly where I ended last season, in Iron. I learned a lot in my first season, mainly that I started playing ranked way too early. But the start of the second season is going quite well. I've currently got a win rate of 56% and a win rate with one champion in particular of 73.7% after 19 games, which is why I want to make this video talking about champion selection and personally my champion pool. In my first season of ranked, I played 25 different champions across, well, mainly 2 roles, but I think I got auto-filled into mid for 1. And across those, I played 25 different champions, which is pretty crazy to think that I was a new player and then I had to try and learn all these other champions as well, but it just made it so much harder for myself because I was trying to learn champion while trying to learn the game. So the start of this season, I've condensed my champion pool down massively, and the only reason I've chosen to do this is just through getting better with certain champions. The more you play champions, it does become easier because you know what they are good at and what they're not good at. Every single champion in this game has certain parts of the game when they're really strong, they get power spikes, but they also play differently against every single champion, and you could play against one champion and find them really easy, and then you play a different champion against them and you get absolutely destroyed. Most top lane players hate playing against Heimerdinger. He is just a top laner's nightmare for most melee champions. However, there's certain champions who, even though they are melee, absolutely decimate him. If you're a Yorick main and you get counterpicked with a Heimerdinger, you are literally laughing as you count your LP. In my first full season of Iron Rank, I main jungle. I do enjoy jungle, but I find that it does become a little bit exhausting. There's a lot of pressure on you, especially with these new feats of strength. And this is the problem with playing jungle and Iron, is that you can have your laners get absolutely destroyed before you've even finished your clear. So the game yesterday, before I finished my full clear, the ADC and support both died twice. That's kind of what you're facing, and although that's not the end of the world, if you have that plus a top lane and mid lane do the same, it does become very difficult to even compete against it. So I switched to top, and I found that if I'm playing top lane, usually I'm okay, and even if I'm directly countered, I'm not going to die more than twice in the first 10 minutes. So it just means there's one less lane to completely int, because in Iron Rank, the skill level is crazy. It's crazy, honestly. You do get a few smurfs in Iron Rank, and I've noticed that you tend to get them in a row. So you'll get a smurf on the enemy team, then the next game you'll get another smurf, then it'll go back to normal. The other times, you do just have this incredibly low level of ability that is hard to understand. I'm going to be honest, it's people who have never ever grasped the game, and they are literally just running around like headless chickens. I'm in Iron Rank. I'm no expert at this game. It does become shocking when you see the stand of some players, and I would say there's probably one player in every game that kind of has no idea how the game works at all, and rather on your team or their team, and that becomes difficult. But ultimately, if you can take a lane yourself and you're confident in your own ability, I might not be good enough to carry the game, but I'm not going to throw it. In jungle, which I do enjoy, it becomes harder because you have to be so hyper aware, and then it becomes a point where you're okay, well, this lane's going to be lost so quickly. Do I leave it? I probably have to leave it and prioritize more winning lanes, but neither of them are winning. It becomes a really complicated thing. So I just think playing top, playing a melee character who I do think is easier, it's more enjoyable for me, and I've had a lot more success with them, with some of these champions. So at the moment, I'm breaking this video down into my champion pools for top and for jungle, and there's a lot of crossover, and that's purely because I found that when I play jungle, the assassin characters are harder to use. I do think Viego, Kha'Zix, Graves, Talon, the characters who are really bursty but quite squishy themselves, they're harder to use because there's more room for error. You make a mistake here or there and you don't have the health to survive it. Whereas I think tanky bruiser champions who can play jungle and play top, they've got more health, they've got more sustain, and you can make a mistake here and there and you're less punished for it. Because of that, I've lent towards these tankier champions. So I think it's important when you're picking your champion pool to understand how strong your champion is in blind picks, because some champions have such unbearable counters that you're going to have the worst game of your life, and I learned that the hard way with some of these champions. That's why I have a few champions who are blind picks, who I will pick if I am first pick. I can't bring myself to play Malphite top. I just can't do it. However, of all the Malphites I've played, I've only played a couple of bad ones. The rest of them I've never really been able to kill them more than once in lane, and then they've kind of helped the team at the end, even though they have been behind throughout the first half of the game. I just can't bring myself to play Malphite at the moment. I just don't really vibe with them. So my blind pick for top is the champion with the highest win rate in all across League of Legends, which is Yorick. Yorick is a great champion. He is very safe. He can really snowball games and he's an incredible split pusher. In solo queue, split pushing is really important, but it's not the be all and end all. I think you can push too far. I think you've got to really be selective with when you do split push, but definitely for getting the second tower, it can be done. You know, Yorick can get 2 towers in 17 to 18 minutes, even if he doesn't snowball his lane. His minions and ghouls damage is excellent for poking down the enemy laners, and I think with that, it can really make him a difficult champion to play against, and he only has maybe 4 or 5 champions who can really destroy him. Being Warwick, I found a lot of difficulty facing Mordekaiser and Darius as well. He also destroys a lot of the ranged ADCs. Like Teemo and Heimerdinger do not stand a chance against Yorick. You just play safe until you get level 6. Get level 6, get Trinity Force, and then you can really be aggressive with the laner. And I think it's important just not to fall behind pre-level 6 and also not fall behind in CS. Try your best to keep your CS up while badgering the opposition laner, and then move from there. This next champion is my secondary pick, and it's Sett. Sett and Graves are my favourite champions in League of Legends. I love Sett so much. I just love his playstyle, I love his abilities. He's a tank, he's a bruiser, he's got some great lines. The only issue with Sett is, I think he does have a lot of counters. He's not particularly great into the likes of, he's not great in the likes of Teemo, but you can't beat him. He's bad into Heimerdinger, he's not particularly great into Yorick either, and just any ranged top laner, he's not great into Warwick. There's a lot of the really popular picks who your Sett is not great against, which is why if I play Sett, I tend to make him my second pick, and I've got an okay win rate with him. Not as much as my main pick for top lane, which is Volibear.
I am the storm!
I am the storm, baby! There we go. We got that. Right, Tahm Kench, let's get him, baby. Oh my god, yes.
The Volibear. Great storm.
There we go, look. Beautiful. Where you going, bro? Where you going, bro? Where you going, bro? Where you going? Where you going? Where you going? Oh, 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 oh. Dancing, 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 dancing. There we go. Oh my, this is a game and a half, this. I love Volibear. I think he's absolutely incredible, and at the moment in ranked I've played 19 games with him across top and jungle, and I've got a win rate of around 76%. He's just a great, fantastic laner. He's so powerful, and as I look through my op.gg, you can see where the games that I play volley top, my laning phase is so strong against whoever I'm against. He's just got so much presence because of his passive, which allows him to build attack speed, and then when it reaches full stacks of 5, it starts sending off Chain Electric, which does magical damage. It makes wave management a little bit harder. It's just, you don't want to be too aggressive when you're trying to control the wave. You still got to just not stack your passive ultimately, because it's not going to benefit you. If anything, you're going to crash your tower too soon. But he's got so much lane presence, and his sustain with his W is fantastic. It's really good, and it creates a lot of fear in the opponent laner, because they know that if they go in to attack you, you're going to do your empowered W, which does more damage to them and heals you. So that first attack, that trade, is not really going to work out pretty well for them because of the amount of damage you're going to do and the healing you're going to get. So it creates this really oppressive situation where you can really push. He does have a few counters, mainly Teemo and Aurora, any range top really, but you can build Volibear in so many different ways. You can build him as full tank, you can build him AD, AP, and mixture. Now, I like to build him a mixture. Most of the guides suggest Rod of Ages, and then I've also seen a lot of things about Cosmic Drive. I actually don't like building an AP item first. I just think that in the early laning phase, you want to be doing a lot of damage with your abilities. Volibear's passive and his E scale with AP. His ultimate scales with AP, but also double the amount of AD, and then his Q and W, the abilities that you use a lot of the time, scale with AD. And I just find that having more AD really makes you more powerful early. But if you don't build any AP, you aren't getting full advantage of his passive. So I like to try and do both. So at the moment, I'm going through a bit of a weird build with him. I'm really enjoying Titanic Hydra at the moment with him. Unlike the cleave from Stridebreaker or the other cleaver items, this one goes forward, and it just basically means the wave clear is phenomenal. And then the second item is always, every game, no matter what, is Navoriak Flickerblade. This is the best item for Volibear in the entire game. Basic attacks reduce your basic cooldowns by 15%, which is absolutely insane. Like, I didn't want to build it when I first got him because I was a bit like, well, it gives me no AD, no health. It's not going to really benefit me in my damage output. But it basically means that you can constantly be banging out your W, your empowered W, which heals on an insane level. Like, probably every 2 seconds you are getting a massive amount of healing, which means he's really really powerful in a 1v1 situation, I would say. He just beat most in a 1v1 at that point. My third item is usually Riftmaker or Spirit Visage. Then you're getting the AP to stack his passive to increase his attack speed, which allows you to continue to stack Flicker Blade, which allows you to reduce your cooldowns. But you're doing massive damage with your basics because of Titanic Hydra, and then also Titanic Hydra provides a massive buff to your W and a bit of your Q as well. So I feel like that is the trio of combo, like a bit of AP, a bit of AD, which brings me on to jungle. I only have 3 again, and to be honest, it's mainly just 2, the rest being mainly counters. My main pick for jungle at the moment is Zac. I stole it! I stole it! I stole it! Yes! Zac is very dependent on banning Warwick. Zac can't play into a Warwick in any way, shape or form. Like, it's like so unbearable. But Zac just has some of the best ganking in the entire game. His E, which is a massive jump, just allows you to unexpectedly engage the enemy laners, and it is pretty funny. To the point of actually one game, the top Aatrox got so mad that he actually started begging me to stop ganking him in a game, which I found hilarious. Usually I build Liandry's first item, and then Sunfire Ages, and then maybe either Riftmaker or another defensive item, and then after that it's all just defensive. He plays as a tank, he's a setup character, and you've got to set up your team. The only problem with that is that if you're playing with a terrible team, you're going to lose, but the reality is you're probably going to lose a game anyway. But he's not necessarily a great duelist, Zac. He's actually quite a weak duelist, a 1v1er. He's kind of the type of person who comes in, slows someone down, and then allows someone else to come in and get the kill. One of my best games with Zac was when I only got 7 kills and 6 deaths, but I managed 20 assists because I was just setting up the kills for people, and we did snowball that game. And then I suppose it just brings you back to Volibear being my second pick for jungle. So really looking at this season, I've only actually got 4 champions that I plan on using in my main champion pool. Volibear, Sett, Yorick, and Zac. Then I've got champions I'm okay with. I probably played 30 to 40 games with them, but they're all just backups. Pantheon, Mordekaiser, and Jax. I love all 3 of them. And then finally Warwick. Now I've played hundreds of games with Warwick. I do like him. I don't know. I fall out of love of champions sometimes, which is why I haven't just one-tricked a character, to be honest, because I just find that this game can be frustrating, and sometimes you're one-tricking all the time and you go through a 10-match losing spell. You kind of fall out of love with the champion, which is why I've said to myself that I really want to have a champion pool of around 3 to 4 champions who I love, but not get upset and angry at that champion when you start to lose, because it's an easy thing to do. But I understand the benefit of one-tricking really now after playing just these few champions. I understand what you can actually achieve by just playing a really small champion pool, especially if you're just playing 1 or 2 lanes. So what does your champion pool look like? Let me know. Is it just the 1 champ, or is it 3 or 4 like me? And which lane? Let's talk, and good luck for the ranked season.